Our 5 bad mistakes in the garden, and
5 big gardening mistakes.
5 big gardening mistakes. Yep. And yeah, I think that's what we are learning always is context matters and observing and learning matters and not charging ahead. Hey everybody, I'm Cassidy and this is Taylor, and today we're talking about the top 5 worst mistakes that we have made as gardeners. And just as a reminder, on this show, we talk about gardening, we talk about natural farming, natural gardening, and we talk about our micro farm. So welcome back to the Griffin Family Farmcast, episode 5. So 5 worst mistakes on episode 5.
Nice.
I thought that worked.
Yeah.
So here we are. Our sponsor for this week is a little abstract. Our sponsor is Second Tries.
Nice.
Because I've been thinking a lot lately about how second tries aren't necessarily free. And sometimes
True.
They cost a lot. And so if you get a second try in the garden, you make a big mistake, maybe it costs you a little to have a second try. And so I thought that was a good sponsor because it's just a reminder of like second tries are good, but they also are tricky. And so, there's like
they cost something.
They do.
But they also can have value, therefore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe more value than the first try.
Right.
That was maybe
than just
free.
Nailing it every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's our sponsor.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah. It was either that or a shovel, so okay, what's happening on the farm garden this week for us?
Well, we don't have to rehash too much. We're in a very similar spot as we were last week. We're just playing the waiting game. I mean, we're heading straight into snow season.
Mm-hmm.
So
the waiting game for gardening.
For gardening. We can't even really see anything on the ground. And we haven't even moved into our house yet. Mm-hmm. But we are in a couple days, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
So
we have it. It's been cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
Just such a relief.
Yep. It's been cleared out and cleaned.
Kids have seen it and walked through it and got to see their room. And they're very excited. And our oldest son really wanted to go on a tour of the farm.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could tell that our son and our daughter were a little bit miffed that there wasn't a cow. And they were trying to convince us that the cow could go right in front of the greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And chicken coop. That's very cute. I think that when we say farm, they just think animals.
Probably.
And the chickens are not quite satisfying enough to fulfill the farm quota. So I think that they're in for a little bit of a disappointment when our farm is just plants.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We can't really fit animals and plants on our land right now. So, anyways, that was really cute. Yeah, it snowed. There's snow covering everything, which is our old renter created a sort of rock garden circle thing in the front yard. It's a major tripping hazard, and so I tried to take it apart, and the rocks are literally frozen to the ground right now. So we've had a hard freeze, and so that's kind of a bummer because we have gotten possession of the house right when we literally can do nothing,
right? Because
the ground is rock solid, and there's even piles all around that someone made an attempt to clean up, I guess, and we're not quite sure what's in the piles because they're frozen solid. So that's a little interesting. I guess we just have to wait a lot of months and then we'll find out. It's probably just
there's usually a warm week or two in February.
Yeah.
That
we'll be out there furiously raking, trying to find out, and make beds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. That's the farm. Very exciting. Yeah. Anything else?
No, not really.
It's been a long week. We're tired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very tired. Okay. So this week, we're going to talk about the 5 worst mistakes, or 5 bad mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't even know if
Big
they're
mistakes.
the worst. They're the big mistakes. They are big mistakes that we have made gardening. And number one, I came up with them and I ranked them. So you could disagree with me if you wanted to. But mistake number 5. So starting with the least to the worst, the least worst to the worst. Number 5, not having all our inputs ready before the season started.
Yeah, totally.
I don't have a question there. I just thought we could chat about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this past growing season was like the first time that we ever did have them all ready.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I think I would have liked to have more IMO 4 so that we could be doing liquid IMO sprays right away. But we had everything else, which is great. And then a little bit into the summer, or into the late spring, I had the chance to start collecting IMO again. But we had Jadam microbial solution to use. We could brew indoors, which is great. And yeah, I mean, it's just a mistake that's so easy to make because you think you have so much time, and then sure enough, all of a sudden spring creeps up on you, and then that's like the last thing you want to be doing is making inputs for your garden. You want to, I mean, because you've got planting, you've got seed starting, but then you've also got then transplanting those or.
Well, it's because, so like, I think it was 2 seasons ago, we were experiencing pest damage and like making our natural pesticide as we were already, like things were gone already. And so that was like, it was a hard lesson for us that kind of cemented it in our brain that we're like going to have our inputs ready before the season starts for whatever happens. Disease, pest, whatever. So I think that was like a hard lesson to just watch, you know, because you're making like a garlic pepper fermented spray and it took a couple days to make or something. And so we just had to watch our plants be eaten by pests while we waited for the spray to be ready. And so, yeah, I think that was a harder lesson for sure. Yeah. Because we don't rely on conventional things, we can't just go to the store and buy something. So you have to plan ahead. Okay, so mistake number 4, using old grass clippings to mulch around baby seedlings. Yeah.
Big bummer.
This was a really, really hard lesson for me.
I'm so glad it wasn't me that did it.
I know. You would have died. I would have killed you. I was very, very upset with myself. We'll say that. Yeah, so we were going to go out of town and we had all of our seedlings. We hardened them off. We put them outside. We didn't have enough room for them inside, so they slowly started to be outside with frost cover and stuff. And we're going to go out of town, and I didn't want them to dry out because they're soil blocks. And so I thought, oh, we've got this bag of grass clippings. Let me just like mulch them so that we can retain water. Well, the bag of grass clippings, it would have been fine if we had just cut the grass and I put the grass on the soil blocks. That would have been fine. And that's what I was thinking in my head. But this bag of grass clippings had sat for a while and had started to break down and become brown and a little bit moldy.
Well, they'd sort of just started to ferment.
Yeah, they matted and they stunk.
Yeah.
And I sort of like got them, you know, tore it apart and placed it around each seedling. And the next morning I came out and all my seedlings were black.
Yeah.
Toasted. And it was just because there was too much nitrogen, I'm assuming, is what happened. Or, you know,
something like that. At least for the baby seedlings, yeah. And I think when you pile up grass clippings just on their own, they'll generate heat. And they get that. If it's just grass clippings, they kind of get that slimy, matty, gross, hot nitrogen smell. And and they wrecked those. Yeah.
I had like a ton of echinacea just gone. A ton of yarrow gone. It was really sad. That was really hard. Yeah. So don't mulch your plants.
Especially your baby seedlings.
Baby seedlings with old grass clippings or anything that could be high in nitrogen as it ages. So like manure.
Totally.
Like don't mulch them with manure.
Yeah. It's hard to know exactly what it was. So I mulch our garden beds with lawn clippings if I can get them.
Yeah.
We don't really have a lawn at our current house,
Mm-hmm.
but the other places we've lived where we've rented, we've had a lawn, and we mulch our garden beds with grass clippings, which is great. Yeah. They're actually a pretty great mulch. But I also wonder if it's just the age of the plant. I think when your seedlings are this tall and you put like this much thick mulch around it or something, even a little bit can burn them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, it's the same effect as putting manure directly on your garden.
Yeah.
You can burn your.
Yeah. Mistake number 3: covering our entire front yard in wood chips. Yeah. This is a controversial one. It's a controversial one, even amongst ourselves. Like,
yeah.
Like,
well, time will tell.
Great and not great.
Yeah. Time will tell.
Yeah.
What the long-lasting effect of it was, but I would agree it was a mistake. Yeah. So we got in our heads to do Back to Eden.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before a little bit, I think, but we spread cardboard over a sizable front yard.
Lawn.
Probably a tenth of an acre at least. Probably a tenth of an acre. I feel confident saying that, which is a lot of cardboard. I mean, I was dumpster diving, got a ton of cardboard. We got a ton of wood chips. We spread it all out. And the Back to Eden method is an approach pioneered by Paul Gauci, or at least popularized by Paul Gauci, who lives over in the state of Washington, where we live, but on the west side of the mountains in Sequim. And he famously mulches all of his plants and stuff with wood chips. And then there's like kind of maybe been some sort of documentaries made. I don't know if he produced one or if someone made one with him, but he's an interesting dude and inspiring. And so we bought in, and we just very quickly, I think, realized that our climate being so dry, it was hard for the wood chips to really break down into soil quickly at all. And then not only that, but I think I've come to realize since that he relies on a lot of homemade compost too. He lets his chickens process. Like what he's calling wood chips isn't necessarily just wood chips.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we just didn't know anything. We were just like...
Didn't know anything.
How do we get rid of this lawn? We don't want to mow it. We don't want to water it. And we don't want it to be this big, dead lawn.
Yeah.
So that was our solution.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I regret it is because I had to rake back so much of it in order to plant.
Sure.
I spent so many hours raking it to the sides so I could like make beds.
Yeah.
So that's why I regret it, is because we couldn't really plant into it because I was planting annuals in the front. Like maybe if we were doing perennials, like
yeah, maybe,
something like that, it would have worked. But
what we needed to do too was we just needed to put way more compost down than we were able to generate at the time, or than we were generating at the time.
Yeah.
And so if we could have made 6-inch garden beds right on top of not on top of the wood chips, but if we could have scraped back the wood chips where the lawn had been killed, put 6 inches of compost there,
that would have been great.
We just didn't have the resources, so then basically we're just left with a probably like quasi nitrogen robbed soil surface. And the soil was compact.
The lawn was dead. That was the positive.
And it is dead.
Yeah.
Which is cool. We'll see what we do with it going forward. We probably are going to scrape back all the wood chips and just reestablish garden beds once we're ready to farm there.
Yeah.
And we'll do that with compost, and we might till to try and get it started, and
Mm-hmm.
then we use the wood chips elsewhere, or just as pathways and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
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 Yeah. Mistake number 2, not tilling the White House garden.
Yeah. And sorry, actually, just one more thought on
Mm-hmm.
I think the principle behind the wood chips mistake is actually that it was such a big undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge project and a huge decision to just like, we're just going to cover it all. And it took so much effort and resources, not that much financial resource, but it actually took time away eventually because we didn't quite do it right.
Yeah.
And so I think the lesson there would be, if you're going to make a huge sweeping plan, maybe trial the method first.
Yeah.
And make sure that you know how it works on a small scale.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
If it does work. If it doesn't work, then great. You get to save yourself.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was just that last thought. So going to mistake number 2, though.
Yeah. Mistake number 2, not tilling the White House garden.
Yeah. Yep. And we've had a kind of mixed relationship with tillage in general.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't necessarily been like, horrendously opposed to it. We tilled to get our first kind of micro farm established.
Yeah.
After a couple of years of trying to garden in that soil, we ended up tilling it, and that was great for the tilth.
Mm-hmm.
But for the White House garden, why didn't we till the
Well,
White
so I
House
think
garden soil?
we were as a rental, and we didn't have a lot of time, and I think that we'd had such great success with not tilling your parents' garden that year before that I feel like we didn't even think about it, think about needing it, because we did not till their garden at all. We just laid down cardboard on top of dirt, some compost or manure, just enough to hold the cardboard down. We did the perimeter pathways with wood chips, and then we put straw on top of the manure and let it sit for 9 months. And then we cut through the cardboard and planted into the dirt below. So it was not great, but it did so well that I think we forgot an important principle, that their yard was basically fill dirt. So it was a little hill, and it was a newer development, newer. The White House is built in 1910, so this house was built in the early 2000s, so significantly newer, right? And so they pushed the dirt up to, dig out. I'm assuming that hillside was basically the dirt from the foundation, essentially.
The topsoil.
Yeah. And so, it just hadn't been compacted. It was compacted by the machines that pushed it up there, but it hadn't been walked on. And there weren't, there were some trees that had some root systems, but there were those 2 willows, that's true, that they took out. But I think it just was fill dirt, basically. And then the White House, it was built in 1910. And there's established hedges and established trees. And the lawn wasn't really growing, which should have cued us in that if the lawn couldn't grow in these spots that we're trying to start gardens, nothing's going to grow. So I think the ground was just extremely compacted.
Yeah. As much as, as most maybe residential areas are going to be.
Yeah, especially older neighborhoods.
I imagine. But also, new as well. That I think that my parents' yard was a unique one because they probably did just push all that topsoil up there. But standard practice, and this is I tend to be talking about things in this podcast that I'm going to talk about in the upcoming videos that we make. Seems like, but the standard practice for leveling the ground is just scraping the topsoil away, and then to kind of finish the project once the house is built, they just roll sod on top of the subsoil practice. It's not maybe all subsoil, but
Yeah.
it's just basically there's no, I don't know, there's nothing for plants to kind of ground themselves into
Right.
in most residential
Which is why
areas.
Probably the raised bed became such a thing.
Oh, totally. I mean, it's a great solution.
In the suburban world. Like, suburban world, did I say
Yeah,
that?
sure.
In the, like...
Suburbia.
It's because there's no other way to grow except a raised bed if you're not willing to put in the effort of building your soil. Yeah. So I would have tilled, which I would not necessarily recommend. So I think what the lesson here is, you can't just say this is the method, this is the way. You have to investigate and use that permaculture technique of observation, and you need to learn your space and learn your yard and assume that you're the learner and the yard is the expert. Or the farm or the land that you're on is the expert, and you're the novice, you're the learner. You know nothing. You know nothing about like what that space needs. You're like the newcomer. So why do you think that you can walk in with this method and be like, it will work no matter what? It's like, well, it could, but that doesn't actually mean that you were right. It just means the factors all lined up. So you were lucky. But so I think it's just like being aware that we're really at the mercy of nature always. And we need to be like careful and thoughtful observers.
Yeah, and we're also at the mercy of the way that the land was treated before we got there.
Yeah.
So, we should have tested the soil for compaction.
Well, and I think because of our previous garden experiences, I made assumptions. I made assumptions that, the soil does seem compact. It's probably fine because that garden was fine. Well, that's several miles away. Like, they're not the same at all. So I think that being aware of the assumptions and being humble and like learning from the land itself when it needs.
And I mean, this ties back into one of the takeaways from the wood chip mistake is that if you could, it's like, I don't know why we keep having to learn this lesson in different ways. Probably we'll always learn it, but it's like these shortcuts or just like doing it the right way is so worth it. If you can the first time, and then if you don't do it that way, that's fine. Just course correct quickly, because a single growing season is a long time. It's a long time to waste. It's not, and you get to decide if it's a waste by how quickly you respond, or if you do respond at all. If you don't, and you just keep beating your head into the wall, and you never take the step to make that observation of your space and test it, then that's on you, and you just need to actually humble yourself and
and that brings us to mistake number 1: spreading oak leaves as mulch.
Again, this is maybe one that doesn't apply to everyone. I don't know. I haven't been doing this long enough to know if oak leaves are just like a staple no. But when we were doing our research as to what the heck was eating our plants that season, that was one that seemed like, what's the term? The silver bullet. And then the real kicker was finding them.
I had just read a book by Douglas Tallamy. I think that's how you say his name, Tallamy. He's a professor somewhere on the East Coast, but he's a professor of, the environment. I don't know, ecology? Is that what it is?
Sure.
Something like that. No, he specifically studies insects, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's maybe his expertise?
Yeah. I actually literally just read that term for the study of insects just today. Can't remember what it is. Okay.
Anyway, so he talks about in his books, how oak trees are like they're indigenous to the Americas, or to the, maybe northern America. Americas, and they are a huge habitat for all kinds of caterpillars.
Yeah.
So there's different oak trees all the way across America, and each of those oak trees is the home for these moths and butterflies that are major pollinators.
Yeah.
And they eat the oak leaves. They, because they've evolved over all the hundreds of thousands of billions or whatever years, millions of years, to have these be their primary food source. So I knew that, but it didn't click in my head that would mean that the giant oak tree that was over our yard, that we were using all the leaves on our garden, would have little, what are they called?
Caterpillar larvae?
Larvae? Is that what they are? I think they're like the little chrysalises, aren't they?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I just didn't think about that. And we didn't even notice them because we didn't know what we were looking for.
Totally.
So we didn't see them, Yeah. So I think that was kind of a huge lesson about nature.
Yeah.
That we learned the hard way.
And I mean, we made a couple mistakes alongside that where we came to, so I'll describe, I've realized, I don't know if we said what the full mistake was. We mulched our beds with whole oak leaves that we collected straight from our tree without composting them or aging them or shredding them at all. And so a lot of them contained caterpillar cocoons that when they awoke in the spring, as the weather got warmer, they just hung out underneath the mulch until we planted tomatoes and cucumbers and peppers and all sorts of stuff. All the flowers. The zinnias.
Decimated the zinnias. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, hundreds of zinnias. And so we kept starting more seeds, and then we just ended up waiting as long as possible.
Yeah.
And we transplanted our plants into bigger, because we were like, okay, this is ridiculous. It was the worst pest infestation that we've ever experienced by far. We would put a plant in the ground, and in some cases it would be gone within a couple hours, to be stripped.
Yeah.
In broad daylight, which is nuts. And so there were also other pests at work. For sure. Yeah. This was a
well, I think everything was starved in that neighborhood, so I think even the crickets were eating our plants, which crickets
maybe
only eat plants,
crickets and earwigs,
if they're starving.
So what was I gonna say? So we would that's right, there was one major discovery that came to find, which was that we had planted a bunch of I think it was tomato plants in red Solo cups, and we were starting to just move them outdoors because we didn't have enough space inside, and we were just like, okay, I guess if the pests get them, they're whatever. But they didn't die when they just stayed in their pots. And then one day the wind had knocked over one of them, and so a leaf of the tomato plant was touching the ground. And it was wild seeing that the next day, where that plant got decimated, and then the other ones right next to it that had stayed upright in their red Solo cups were untouched. And so we were like, okay, well, that means at some level it's not a flying insect that's doing it. It's in the soil or on the soil or in the mulch, and could have been other things in the mulch, but the thing that we found the most was the caterpillars. And there was one day that I just went and I was doing a bunch of weeding right in that area, and I found a dozen caterpillars in a probably a 10 square foot space. So that was really rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like the overall lesson for us is to slow down.
Always. We charge,
both of us. Yeah, just slow down.
And we will again. We're not going to really stop that, unfortunately.
I know. Well, look forward to another episode of the 5 worst mistakes that we have made.
Well, if there's 2 teachers in life, like wisdom and consequences, right?
Mm.
This is an old principle, is you could learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
And you don't have to experience it firsthand, and maybe that's wisdom. Or you can make the mistake and suffer the consequences firsthand. And we tend to be more the consequence learners, which honestly maybe gets a bad rap. I don't know if that's necessarily a terrible, terrible thing.
It depends.
We take action.
Yes. We're risk
That's a good side.
takers and we're decisive.
Yeah.
And we take action. I'm especially decisive and risk taker of the two of us. So, you know, I'll be marching outside with my shovel before I have a plan most of the time. So
totally.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why the sponsor is Second Chances, because we need them. We need second chances.
Yeah. And they've been really valuable to us.
Okay, so this is the Q&A portion of our episode, and I scrolled through and got overwhelmed by however, like, there were a lot of questions, but also they weren't, like, very clear questions.
Yeah.
So I gave up.
Okay.
So I don't have any questions for us this week.
Well, there's one question.
Oh, there was? Okay, go for it.
Well, I was going to say there was one question, and I can't really remember the video. I think it was a short that we put out on making combos. And the question was just what? With no punctuation.
Oh my goodness. I think that's why I was overwhelmed.
It's just the word what.
Because we've, you know, getting a lot more comments lately, which is great. But also, like, we're getting quite a bigger spectrum of comments lately. We've been talking about this. Just, you know, dealing with the negative comments, even though there's way more positive comments. If you remember the negative comments. So I think I saw a few of those negative ones, and then I got sad and gave up. I was like, oh, it's okay. Lots of people like us. You don't have to worry about these mean people. We're not that bad.
Most of our viewers probably like us.
Most people are. And that's the thing, is like you can hear like 10 compliments and 1 negative, and just remember the negative and not remember any of the compliments. So I'm trying to remind myself of that. Most people love our channel and say really nice things and are super encouraging. And then every once in a while, there's just that one person that says something really mean or rude.
There was a comment on a video recently, I think it was a charcoal video, and someone said, they said, terrible explanation. And then someone else commented, like, amazing explanation. And then someone commented, it was an explanation. And then someone commented something else. I'm trying to remember what the fourth one was. It was so funny.
I think
it was a medium explanation. I think the medium one came, and then it was an explanation. And then I commented, it wasn't an explanation.
I think my favorite ones are where they say they're bored. Or we're boring.
Yeah.
So I'm like, then why did you watch? Like, seriously. Who is tying you to a chair and forcing you to watch our videos? Because that's really weird.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch our videos if they're boring. Okay. Anyway, that's my little rant. What is something that you're learning this week?
I'll go really, really specific and practical. And this largely applies to this past week. Our kids have been loud.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm going to go crazy here and bring in another sponsor for this episode.
A real sponsor? No.
And
they're not real. We're not getting any money from them.
Well, we should, because
give us money.
The way that I'm going to describe this product, I'll be brief.
For real, though, they have not given us any money. And this is not a real sponsor, but it's a... There you go. Go for
Loop earbuds.
Yeah.
They come in all different sizes and for different purposes, and I have the parent
and colors
ones. Yep. And the thing is, kids are loud. They scream at the top of their lungs for no reason. not necessarily. Sometimes they're upset. Sometimes they're really happy, and
Yep.
sometimes they're totally just neutral, and they're just screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I've learned that, first of all, this is more being reminded because I stopped wearing my loop earbuds for a while for some reason. But I'm reminded that I get frazzled when there's loud noise,
Mm-hmm.
and just crowding out my thoughts. And it makes it easy to snap at our kids, which I don't want to do. And so putting in the loop earbuds, I can still hear them.
Yeah.
But it's so toned down. And like these things it blows my mind how effective they are. It's almost a little bit scary how effective they are because they act as like a mild sedative for me. I get kind of sleepy almost as the noise from the world just drowns out.
Yeah.
And again, I can still hear them, but so I'm learning that I'm overstimulated by noise, or maybe I'm just stimulated and loud noises make me overstimulated. But I can tone that down and be a better parent.
Yep.
And a better person.
Yep. Nice. Yep.
Loop earbuds.
Get yourself a pair.
Get yourself a pair. Loop earbuds.
Yeah.
Drown out the world. That's their slogan.
It's not. What I'm learning this week. Okay, so story time. We are in the process of clearing out all the stuff that our renter left behind. We've got it all sort of combined into the carport. Our house is clean now, so we took our kids and we let them be in the house. And they got to do their TV time in the house. They're very happy about it. Our son, oldest son especially, just they loved exploring the house and think about where they're going to sleep and stuff. So they're inside, and Taylor and I are outside going through all the stuff, deciding what's going to the Goodwill, what's going in the dump. And our son comes out, peeks out the door and goes, "Oh, so this is the garage." It's a carport. It's just so funny. And I think just what I'm reminded of is like things can be magical even when they're so mundane. And like kids remind you of that, of like he's just so excited. He wanted a tour of the farm, he wanted to see where they were gonna sleep, and he wanted to check out the deck and like see what it was like, and like everything's so new and magical to them.
Yeah. And
I'm like, grumpy because I'm going through this person's pot smelling stuff, and it doesn't have to be. I don't have to be miserable. Like I choose that, because kids, they choose to see the magic in things, and so I can choose that too. So I think that was just a good reminder. It just cracked me up, but that's what I'm learning. Learn from our kids. Okay, what should people do, or what should people try in their gardens this week? December 4th.
Yeah.
This will come out.
I don't know. I feel like December is kind of a month off for most people. Of course, if you haven't started your fermented fish amino acid ferment, you want to get that going.
Yep.
Whatever the long-term Korean natural farming input that you've been putting off learning, just learn it. Of course, if you're going to do OHN, maybe wait till the new year after you're done with the holiday traveling.
Yep.
Because there's some hands-on work there, but yeah, I'd say your long-term. So that would be if you're not traveling, then do your Oriental herbal nutrient. If you, you could do the fermented fish amino acids. And
I mean, you could make brown rice vinegar the traditional way. Like the traditional speed.
Or just vinegar in general, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us and hearing about our 5 bad mistakes in the garden, and
5 big gardening mistakes.
5 big gardening mistakes. Yep. And yeah, I think there's what we've are learning always is context matters, and observing and learning matters, and not charging ahead. So thanks for joining us. If you liked this episode, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back next week with another episode.